Hushing, I'm applying no pants in London. The products are not being scared of some judgment. Gotta stay in the cut you off if you ain't making the cut. Couldn't tell you who the hell is behind us. You start to forget when you stay in the front of it's up. And it's up for grabs, no remorse for who I'm taking it from. Numbers I give on my scoreboard is the only form of us staying in touch, that's staying enough. It's time to receive all of the favors I've done. Too late for y'all to switch teams, everybody getting big leagues. Product flying out the shelf, what's in store for us? Known to hit a hole in one, look at the crowd and shoulder shrug. Shots are limited, I'm scared mango with the golden gun. Posted up, ready for whatever, boy, you know what's up. Time's close, I whittled them down. Sticking to them by sticking around. The gang online, Iwo Jima got one flag and it's sticking the ground. Setting up shop. Think I got the message across. Came for the titles, impressive to watch. We play at the levels of Letterman jocks. Shout out to Steve. The boy getting love from the harsh critics. Strauss hit me bi-weekly to tell me keep taking it further. You aren't finished and I gotta listen. Any son of believing and see that I'm actually breathing and doing it real time. Love to pull an idea out thin air, act on it and profit in real life. If we not aligned, don't present me a dotted line. Yeah, I'm a QB, but I ain't handing on nothing for someone to monetize. And it goes to the birds too. Can't give it a time if a dollar so cut her eyes. They get X'd out for they added potential to be my ex. I know all the plays, I'm a seasoned vet. Yeah. Always showing up, known to hit a hole in one. Look at the crowd and shoulder shrug. Shots are limited, I'm scared mango with the golden gun. Posted up, ready for whoever, boy, you know what's up. Time's close, I whittled them down. Sticking to them by sticking around. The gang online, Iwo Jima got one flag and it's sticking the ground. Setting up shop. Think I got the message across. Came for the titles, impressive to watch. We play at the levels of Letterman jocks. Time's close, I whittled them down. Sticking to them by sticking around. The gang all out, Iwo Jima got one flag. Yeah.
Good Wednesday evening, everybody, and welcome to the season finale. I can't believe it. The season finale of the Roundup with me, Big League Berardi, episode 8 of 8 in season number 1, brought to you by Spherion Mid Ohio. Spherion Mid Ohio staffing and recruiting specialists serving 9 counties throughout Mid Ohio. They offer professional jobs for amateur sports fans and everyone in between. Click the link in this video's description to see jobs they are currently hiring for and learn about the perks of using a staffing agency or to fill your current staffing needs. On this, the final episode of the season, we have everything that you come to love with the Roundup. We have our greatest hits nominees for Week 8, our Week 7 winner. Brian Skorwonski will be back in here with a ton of diamond cuts from this past week, and as well, the shout-out edition of Talk of the Town brought to you by Plymale Insurance Group. But as always, let's start with our conference champions from the season in baseball and softball, and then we'll get to our tournament scores. But first, let's take a look at those conference champions. In the OCC, the Worcester Generals, a third straight conference championship in baseball, but on the softball side, it was a three-way tie. The Madison Lady Rams, New Philadelphia, and Mount Vernon all tied for the conference championship. In the Firelands, Crestview went unbeaten in baseball play to take that side of things, while Monroeville on the softball side took the conference title. In the MOAC, once again, it was those Highland Fighting Scots. They were undefeated until the last conference game of the season, losing to Clear Fork, but they already had it, the overall championship in the bag. They are conference champions once again. And the Ontario Lady Warriors, district champions for the first time in 37 years, and they have an MOAC title for the second consecutive year. Down in the KMAC, the Fredericktown Freddies are the champs on the baseball side, and then those Centerburg Lady Trojans, they take the softball side of things, they're the KMAC champs on both sides. In the WCAL, on the baseball side, we had co-champions. It came down to the final day between Waynedale, Norwayne, Hillsdale, and Downton. Well, Waynedale and Norwayne, they got the wins in that final day, and they split the conference title. And then on the softball side, 3 teams split it. Norwayne, Northwestern, and Hillsdale. Those 3 teams split each of those series with each other, and that decided the conference. And finally, in the Northern 10, the Upper Sandusky Rams on the baseball side ran away with an unbeaten season. While on the softball side of things, it came down to the final day. Cary needed a win over Upper Sandusky to split with the Lady Rams, and they just did that. Those 2 teams, Upper Sandusky and Cary, split the Northern 10 conference championship. So there are the conference champions from our 6 conferences. Now let's take a look at some tournament scores over the past week. We had a ton of tournament action here on the OH Report live streams and highlights. So let's take a look at the scores from around the area. First, on the baseball side of things, Upper Sandusky, they are going to a district semifinal. They blanked Elida 4-0. The Clear Fork Colts, one of our few area teams not to make it into the next round, they fell to Bellevue. Bellevue, a complete effort, winning 6-1. The Shelby Whippets, in a game you saw live and free, defeated Madison on their home turf 5-1. Ontario, back-to-back walk-offs, 7th inning comebacks. They knock off Perkins this one in extra innings, 6-5. Crestview, the Firelands Conference champs, come back late and defeat Lakota 10-6. Winford blanks Western Reserve to get the district 6-0. The Fredericktown Freddies edging Liberty Union. You'll see how that game ends in the Diamond Cut segment. They knocked them off 5-4 to get back to a district championship game. Waynedale, in a highlight you saw here on the OH Report, 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th to walk off Beechwood 4-3. They move on. The Golden Knights of Northmore, a complete defensive effort. You'll see some of those gems in Diamond Cuts. Knocked off second-seeded Fairfield Christian 6-1. And in a game yesterday, Hillsdale, it was close at one point, but they pulled away from WCAL rival Rittman 13-5 to move to the district championship game. Now let's take a look at softball scores from this past week. Huron in the Shelby district held off Upper Sandusky. They scored early and held off the Lady Rams 4-1. Margaretta wasn't as close over Clear Fork. They run rule the Lady Colts 11-1. In a live stream you saw last Thursday, Keystone taking advantage of an early error and then adding on with a triple late, knock off the Lady Falcons of Hillsdale 2-0. They get another tough test in their regional. They got to take on Warren Champion as well as possibly Triway, so that's a tough region for them. Speaking of Triway, they knocked off Manchester, a team that beat them once in the regular season, 9-2, to move on to that regional. Plymouth, the Lady Red, get another district championship. They knock off South Central 8-3. Hopewell Loudon held off a late surge by Cary 8-6. I believe a grand slam as well in that game as Cary tried to get back, but Hopewell Loudon undefeated still this season. They are 8-6 winners. A game that you saw the highlight of, I did, up at Willard, those Lady Warriors of Ontario, for the first time since I wasn't even born. They knocked off Clyde 5-0 for that district championship. Highland also, what a game on Saturday. They were down 3-0 in the 6th inning. They score 5 unanswered, 3 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, and then hold off a bases-loaded threat in the bottom of the 7th to win a district championship over state-ranked Jonathan Alder. Also on Saturday, in the same place at Pickerington Central, you had all 4 Central District title games there. Johnstown with a 1-0 victory over East Knox. East Knox had the tying and go-ahead runs on in the 7th inning, had a close play at third base. You can see that in our highlights that I have on the OH Report Facebook and YouTube pages, but they win it 1-0 for the district title. And then Newark Catholic got the bats out over the Danville Lady Devils, a couple of home runs for them. They win it 13-2 in a run rule victory to win the district championship. So there are your scores as well as your conference champions from this season. And as always, hey, there's still some teams left. Stick here with the OH Report for our highlights and live streams as we go into districts for baseball and regionals for softball. Now let's flip to the other side of the diamond where we are going to bring you our diamond cuts, the best defensive plays from the last week, and we've had a ton of them as we welcome in, as always, Brian Skorwonski, President, CEO. The reason why I'm here doing this show, so thank you for that, Brian, but a lot to get to, Mr. Skorwonski, this week.
Yeah, we were at a ton of games last week, of course. I love the last week that we just got to experience with the big-time games, with baseball getting underway, and then the girls, if they can move on to regionals. So there's a really lot to unpack, of course, from last week of play. And still a ton of teams are in the mix, even now. So
a lot of work left to be done for us.
A lot of teams potentially for baseball could be in regionals.
Yeah.
It's an exciting week.
And there's a lot of plays from the baseball diamond. So I guess without further ado, let's see what you got, Mr. Skorwonski.
Roll that footage. We're going to kick things off here with district final action. Belle Dalton coming out of her catcher stance, and she's calling in the goon squad for a mollywhopping, laying down the tag like a linebacker to score a Hillsdale out. We're going airborne now with our next nominee. Lauren Wainwright goes a full 180, contorting her body like a tabletop to make the grab. At least she's got on the catcher's gear, because that is straight horizontal. You want to talk about protecting the third baseline? Well, Fairfield's Aiden Langwasser looking like the sheriff in third baseland, plus the Wyatt Earp-like bullet over to first to shoot the runner dead down in his tracks. Same game, just a little role reversal now. Cole putting the cuffs on the blooper to center. So good that the batter can't even hide his emotions. Look at that. He's upset, clearly. I mean, come on, man. What a play by Northmore's Cole Kaufman. A lot of love for the catchers on this week's edition. Braden applying the sap for a game clinching out here. Don't bring that weak stuff to Fredericktown or you're going to get knocked out the top-seeded Freddies. Moving on with that, the final out of the game. Let's go back to Beaver Stadium because Bryce Cooper's acting like a submarine, snagging the life right out of the ball on its way to the turf. Travis.
That's an E-camera person. That's on me because I was actually watching that amazing play. That's a heck of a catch, and that's why I still wanted to show it.
Cooper with the dive all the way to the floor. Coming at you with a backhand now with our next cut. 6 snag by Ontario's Lena Creed, and 1 out's not enough, so she doubles up with her frequent flyer miles. You see what I did there, Clive Flyers? Yeah. Creed looking like the people's champ with a 4-2 knockout blow. Hopefully you like double plays, because the bartender about to fill us up another one. What a defensive effort from the Golden Knights. Their 3rd appearance here on our countdown, but this one might be the crown jewel of them all. 5-4-3 for 2 outs. Northmore moving on to the district finals.
I see what you did there, too.
2 more coming up here as well, but
Play
how often
of the year.
do you see a good old-fashioned F83 DP? I mean, it sounds more like a cheat code in Street Fighter as Taylor Mullins delivers the knockout blow with the fireball. Ayukin for the out.
That's perfect.
Good night.
You should have heard Jake Furr and I in the dugout. I couldn't play what we said because we were so shocked at what she did. That was a can. She actually came off the field, and I asked her, I just said, what? She said, well, I'm a shortstop. I just wanted to fire it. I have never seen something. That runner wasn't caught off the base either. She was where she was supposed to, a few feet off, but just the gun caught her off guard and was able to get her down. Also, the catch, the second base from Northmore, he was so frustrated, bases were loaded with 2 out. That could have got Fairfield Christian back in that game. Northmore made so many great plays in clutch situations, and that's how they were able to knock off the 2 seed. A lot of great key plays in the Diamond Cuts this week.
And what do they say about defense?
Wins championships, my friend.
It does indeed. A lot of these teams right on the cusp of doing that, moving on to the next round. So big shout out, as I know that always comes up on the show, to all those defensive efforts from our athletes this week.
And shout out to you, Mr. Skorwonski. Great first season of the Roundup. And like I said, I appreciate you for allowing me to come out here and bring this to our fans each and every week of those 8 weeks that we have
Hey,
done.
we do it
So
for the
thank
kids out here on the OH Report. So anything that we can do to try to enhance them, put them on a trajectory where they're like all over the internet, that's what we're trying to do out here, putting smiles on kids' faces.
It's that time, folks, as always, for Big Leagues Weekly Top 40, minus 30. You get the gist of it. But before we get to the nominees for Week 8, the final week of the Roundup, let's take a look at the Week 7 chart topper. Here it is. And this one wasn't even close, folks, and deservedly so. It's Ontario centerfield slugger and district champion Taylor Mullins. Not only did she aim for the stars and blast one over the scoreboard in their sectional victory over Vermilion, but she came up clutch one evening later with this 2-out grand slam to give them the difference in their district semifinal victory over Bellevue. Now let's take a look at the week number 8 nominees for the chart topper. Nominee number 1 had her ball singing Wind Beneath My Wings. I don't know what the song goes, but that's the song I had chosen for this one. But the top of the fence got in its way for Hillsdale sophomore slugger Lacey Huber, but it was good enough for this double. Greatest hit number 2 comes from the D4 Central District Final, where Emily Weckesser was singing These Cleats Were Made for Walking. Why? Because you don't gotta run when you knock one over the fence. Our third nominee comes from Margaretta, where pitcher Mariah Fields was honing her inner Drizzy singing, No Help, That's All Me. Well, she did get some help in their run rule win, but she clears the bases here with a double. Nominee number 4 comes from the D2 District Championship, where Jocelyn Frazier re-enters the countdown singing, Back in Black! That monster shot into the wind at Willard easily cleared the fence, as the Warriors win its first district title since Brian Skorwonski was in a diaper. Finally, we're back on the baseball diamond, where Hillsdale was trying to hold off Rittman until D to the H, David Parker said, get back, you don't know me like that. It's a 3-run double, helping the Falcons extend their lead and a 13-5 district semifinal victory. So there you have it, folks. The Week 8 final week nominees for the Greatest Hits chart topper. You have until 8 p.m. on Tuesday. I'll be back on Wednesday to reveal the week number 8 victor, but 1 vote per person as always. You know, it's been a very, very busy week for us here at the OH Report since we last met here on the Roundup. A lot of games, a lot of highlights, a lot of live streams, meaning a lot of MVP interviews, meaning you know where I'm going. It is the Talk of the Town Shoutout Edition, brought to you by Plymale Insurance Group. We got a lot of them, so let's roll it.
My dad, he's awesome, and then I went through ACL surgery, so all the doctors and coaches that have helped me through that. So.
My amazing defense tonight and catcher Jamie Opfer, and then my parents for supporting me.
Awesome. Shout out to Gage Weaver, who's standing here behind the camera, and shout out to all the Ontario fans. Shout out to JC for getting that walk-off.
Hey, shout out to all the fans who pulled up. You know, you had to pay for tickets. It's pretty rare, but hey, that's okay. We got a lot of seniors here. Shout out to all of them. Made the season great.
And then do you have any shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, I mean, just God, my family, and my teammates, my coaches for just putting me in this position and just giving me confidence throughout the way, and my family for pushing me.
I'm gonna shout out you guys. You guys are always coming out here. You guys need some love too, but also my team. I'm gonna miss them so much. I can't even think about what's gonna happen without them.
There you have it.
Oh, I'd like to give a shout out to my favorite center of all time, to Jacob Lucar. He's standing right behind you.
I got to shout out the whole dugout. I mean, they brought the energy tonight, the defense. I mean, the dugout, my teammates really came to play and bring the energy.
Hey, last but not least, buddy, we got the shout out here, as we always do on the OH Report, and I'm told your girlfriend Lauren's here in the house, and plus your mom. So if you only get to pick one, who are you going to shout out now?
Gotta shout out my mom, of course. It's my mom.
Just past Mother's Day, you got to put some respect on it, right?
Got to.
All right, and if you want to give a shout out to anybody else outside of those two, go for it.
Shout out to Grayson Heidner, shout out to Jacob Williams, shout out to Carson Garrett and Max Hess. And yeah, that should be it.
My dad, he's taught me since day one. My first game I ever pitched was actually 8 years ago today, so that makes today really special for me. And Taylor Mullins and Mad Dog. Me and Mad Dog do a little handshake before every single inning, so it doesn't get messed up. And my chicken nugget. It's lucky.
She's had that on all tournament long. It's a good luck
And the
charm.
Nug we trust.
And the Nug we trust. All right.
Yeah, our bench is amazing. We've got like 15 girls, but they're all part of this team.
I give a shout out to my parents, my cousin Austin. He's my hitting instructor. All of our coaches, Miss Adam and Rob, and all of the players. Obviously, we're one unit, and I love them all.
I want to give a shout out to Peyton, who's a sophomore. I'm really proud of her for catching that last play. That's really huge for her, and I'm really proud of her.
I'd love to shout out my coaches and my parents for making it possible to be here.
Shout out to the defense and shout out to the family watching it back at home.
I'll shout out to my mom. Love you, Mom.
Shout out to my parents, always coming to support me. Shout out to my grandparents also coming out to support me through almost all my games.
So there you have it, the final edition of the Talk of the Town Shout Out Edition, brought to you by Plymale Insurance Group. And shout out to all of our MVPs for shouting out their moms. You always got to shout out your mom when it comes to these interviews. It's the right choice. It's the best choice. So shout out to my mom. She just had a birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. You're, I'm not going to tell the folks out there how old you are, but love you and happy birthday. That will wrap things up here on the season finale. And I say season finale because I will be back next year with more Roundup with me, Big League Berardi. But we want to thank everybody that helped make things possible. First, Brian Skorwonski and Jory Hollenbeck all season producing and running extra cameras like that, helping me out. So thank you very much. Also, Brian, with all of those the great lyrics, I guess you could say, for the diamond cuts. But I guess you could say I'm not quite done yet, because next week we will have our Week 8 winner of Greatest Hits, and then I will also introduce a whole compilation of our winners from Greatest Hits, all of our Talk of the Town shout-outs, as well as the best diamond cuts. So I'm not quite gone yet. And as always, you can see all of us right here on the OH Report, YouTube, Facebook pages, Instagram. We'll have highlights up until the end of the baseball season through state. Hopefully we still have a lot of teams left, so a few teams will make it to Akron for both softball and baseball. But then after that, we're not going anywhere. We still got the podcast and all of that stuff. So maybe goodbye for now here on the Roundup, but it's not so long for the rest of us. But I will be saying so long. I will see you on a diamond near you.